Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of The Daily Dose. Today is October 27th, and it was a really interesting day today on the markets. We're in the middle of earnings season. We're in the middle of this week where a lot of big tech earnings are coming out, and it's been swaying the market back and forth. We saw Meta report last night, and they disappointed. Revenue, EPS-wise, their costs were up. A lot of their metrics were down as far as daily users go. Digital advertising, the metaverse is losing a lot of money for them, and it's not looking good for them. They're down over 70%, I think, from the peak now. And Zuckerberg's in trouble. So that happened today. But an interesting theme that we saw today was the Nasdaq being down 1.63%. Largely driven by Meta and a lot of tech companies that are struggling with their earnings this quarter. We saw the S&P 500 down 0.61, but then we saw the Dow Jones up 6.1, or not 6.1%, 0.61%. And I do think that the reason for that is because the market is kind of trying to move into this safer space. A lot of companies in the Dow Jones are more established. They've been around for longer. They're perceived as being these safer companies that aren't as exposed to things like digital advertising or chips or a lot of the discretionary spending that's been hurt. And we really saw that today with the Dow being up over 0.5% and the Nasdaq being down over 1.5% and the S&P 500 being down over 0.5%. So that was interesting. We also have Apple and Amazon reporting right now, actually. So that would be pretty interesting if we got to see their earnings come through during the recording, but I don't think that we will. Obviously, the expectations for that are a little bit lower now after Alphabet and Microsoft and Meta. The market didn't really like what it got from any of those companies, and I'm sure that unless Apple and Amazon blow it out of the water, that they will probably be punished as well. So with that, let's take a look at the chart, and it does make sense technically what we are seeing in this market. We hit this zone, this level of resistance at the 38.95, and we've immediately come back down, and we're sitting kind of in the middle of no man's land right now. There's a little level right here, if you see where my cursor is at. For those of you that can't, right around the 37.95. Right now we're at 38.07 on the S&P 500, and that's a little level where you could see maybe some support, maybe get a lower high in there. That would also line up with a little trend line you got going right here. But I think that Apple and Amazon would have to do really good on their earnings right now, and I'm not sure if that'll happen. Maybe I'll eat my words here, but I'm just not sure. So right now it does look like we're sliding back down. So it is scary seeing what happened to Meta today. I hope that none of you were exposed to that. I've never been a buyer of Meta or Facebook. Not a huge fan of Zuckerberg or that company or what they do or how they make their money or just anything about them, honestly. So I hope no one else was hurt by that. But let's take a look at Bitcoin, because this has been really intriguing me over the last few days. So we had a lot of weakness in Bitcoin, and then the last couple days we saw these huge rallies, and now we're kind of settling down. So we got into this zone above the 20,400, and we've come back down to the bottom of it. So there might be some buying support here. It would make sense for there to be buyers at this level. Will it be enough to keep pushing it higher? I don't know, especially if the Nasdaq is about to dump. That would be really interesting. We've talked about how Bitcoin has been trading correlated to the Nasdaq during this bear market. So I think that'll put some pressure on Bitcoin if we see another leg down on the Nasdaq again. Obviously, I'm still looking at the bottom of this level, the 17.7 to the 17.5. If this is your first time tuning into one of these episodes. The reason for that is because there's really no support until you get to 9,000 to 12,000 on Bitcoin after breaking through that level. So I will keep my eye closely on the 17,500 to the 17,700. We've come close a couple times, but we haven't been able to break through. And even though the market is showing strength right now, I'm still going to keep an eye on that for sure. And then that's really it today. Obviously, we have got some big earnings coming out tonight, so I'm sure that that'll have an effect on the market for tomorrow. We'll see if people want to hold and buy into the weekend. We'll have to see. Be sure to stay tuned for that. Remember to please subscribe and follow wherever you listen to podcasts. And I really do appreciate you watching or listening to this episode. And I'll see you in the next one.